Welcome to Around the Product Development, our weekly series where we deep dive into the world of digital product creation and all in just 25 minutes. Here we explore every stage, from ideation to conversion and monetization, providing you with actionable insights and practical knowledge. Each week, we bring you fresh perspectives from industry experts, giving you the opportunity to learn directly from their hands-on experience. And all this is possible thanks to our Agile Product Builders community, which is a Slack community powered by Boldare, digital product creators and consultants. And today, I'm extremely thrilled to welcome one of my colleagues from Boldare, Michał Czmiel. Michał is our tech lead and software architect with extensive experience in renewable energy sector, which we'll be talking about today. And Michał is here today to share his insights, his experience, his history about this sector and how tech innovations can elevate companion apps. So we'll deep dive in what companion apps are at first, but all to help companies streamline operations, reduce costs, and unlock new business opportunities. Welcome, Michał. Pleasure to have you here. Could you give us a bit of your introduction? Because, I'm always the one who's saying things, but please briefly introduce yourself and what brings you today.
All right. Hello, nice to be here. My name is Michał. I've been in Boldare for more than 6 years, I think. And some of the years has been spent working on the renewable energy projects. When I'm talking about renewable energy, they are mostly related to PV generation, energy storage, electrical vehicle charging, this type of information. So that's pretty much from me. I'm currently streaming from Katowice in Poland.
Pleasure to have you. This is kind of a continuation we had started with Andy talking about the user experience. So today we're gonna focus on the other side of the barricade, Cal, tech, integrations, how to approach this way. But before we start, could you explain to our audience what a companion app is, especially in the context of renewable energy? Maybe you have some insights on this. I heard that some companies using out-of-shelf solutions, some building them from the scratch. So if you could just elaborate a bit more on this topic.
Yeah, sure. Good question. So companion application, when we're talking about the renewable energy, PV generation, etc., is an application that complements the hardware product. It enhances the value of the hardware. Okay, but what does that mean? It means that a user, by using this application, can access additional features, additional information about the system. They can view the live monitoring, how much the panels are generating, how much energy is there in the storage. They can view historical data analysis. They can even control the system sometimes. I don't know, they expect a storm is coming, so let's make sure that in our storage we have more energy in case the grid goes dark. They also can, access a customer support, etc. So, and this is the basic level of the functionalities, of course, and probably we'll talk about this later. Businesses can offer additional products, additional features, additional integrations. From the company point of view, I think the companion is also a good way as a communication channel. They can, for example, the company, let's say they only produce the hardware for a long time. And now reaching into digital, they have this new channel to access directly the customer. You asked about the difference between off-the-shelf solutions, like pre-made ones and the custom ones. So I've mostly been working with custom solutions that are built tailored to the need, but some of the providers, they provide their own, out-of-the-box solutions. So to quickly give you points and benefits of each one, off the shelf is faster and cheaper to enable. It's a bit of also a standard, so some people might get used to viewing this this way. Well, custom built, as it says, gives you more customization when in terms of new features, how it looks, how it feels, which is also very important. And it gives you, I think, what's invaluable is access to analytics, so you can really understand the users.
I got you. Yeah, I would say the companion app, they're like a kind of a shortcut for those companies who want to communicate, want to interact with their customers and increase the engagement of their, right? The satisfaction of cooperation with the company. Awesome. Yeah. And following up on this one, you said it brings some new value. It can generate some more profit. How these components actually create this value? You mentioned there are some additional features, additional monetization ways for these companies. Do you have any experience in this industry, as you mentioned as well, dominated by hardware?
Yeah. So let's say you have to choose two hardware products, right? You have one bundle, which is a PV panel and energy storage, and you have almost the same. There are different performance parameters of this one. So quality of this companion app, the quality of user experience, the richness of it, that can be a deciding factor. That if the price is similar, if the parameters are similar, it might be, that customers say, hey, I want the nice thing, right? I want, because probably they want to show it to other family members. Probably they just like looking at it when it's nice. Also, I think this quality can go in pair with a high quality product. If your product is more refined, has a very nice performance parameters, this very nice and extensible companion app can further communicate this message. Regarding other functionalities, there are lots of examples how you can enrich the application. You can give more information to the user, whether it's some weather-based predictions, household consumption predictions, like monitoring how your appliances are consuming energy, giving you some reports. You can integrate, for example, other devices like electric vehicle data that you can combine, many apps into one. And I think the companion is also very important to streamline the onboarding and the maintenance of the system. That you have this nice assistant, nice tool, nice gateway to onboard with the product, test it, maybe if there's a demo version, and also if something's wrong, something's not working, you can just grab it, call your installer or whatever is the pipeline for fixing things. And yeah, so I think that's the additional value.
Exactly. Especially with such a complex product, right? Such in this sector, renewables are. And last time when I discussed the renewables industry with Andy from the user perspective, user experience, actually, to be more specific, he mentioned that one of the biggest challenges is to provide data, which we have a lot in this kind of apps, in a user-friendly way, right? In a way that the users actually know how to utilize later on. I was thinking about the integrations from this side, from the tech part. Could you share any examples of this challenge from your perspective, and maybe some success stories?
Yeah, sure. I think I think that the biggest challenge is the diversity of data formats and properties required by different partners. And when we are talking about the integration, we have to know that it goes both ways. There are ways we can import the data from certain providers, for example, IoT provider that yields the values from those hardware products. And we can also export our data to other partners. I think what's important is that we need to have a set of rules that we follow. We need to have a stable logging system to monitor that we are receiving the data, we are exporting the data. We should provide a data validation, that the data is not wrong, that there are no inconsistencies or missing data. And I think this, as I mentioned, there are different use cases that require different data formats. Sometimes you want to display the, daily energy consumption, which can be gathered over the day. And sometimes you want to be very fine and display power data, power generation data every, 10 seconds. Yeah.
Definitely. Thanks to you for sharing those strategies. Another thing I believe is extremely crucial in terms of renewable and how quickly this market evolves, grow. Are there any challenges from this perspective? For example, code base, how to make it resilient to change? What types of changes or what challenges in this area developers should anticipate?
That's a good question. I would also like to add one more thing to the integration that now just came to my mind.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
There are certain rules because it's very easy. Well, it's not easy. It's still a lot of work researching, but it's a bit easier when you are a consumer. When you are a producer or you are exporting the data somewhere, you need to think of certain rules, like whether you want to make a generalized access to your data, like a single REST API or GraphQL API, so that all the partners, all the clients can access this data, which for me, I think it's very hard. And maybe what could be better is a specialized access, that you have an integration code for each partner. And what's really important, and I want to get it out there, is that use standards. If you are building API, use Open API. If you are building event-driven architecture, use async API. Use OAuth or other authentication methods. For example, webhooks have their own standards of authentication. All right, so just now going back to the code, because this is also related.
This one was very good add-on, right?
Yeah.
Just to provide the best solution suited to your needs. And that's why sometimes I believe custom apps could be way better to just accommodate all these needs by customers. And taking from our experience, I believe we mostly do customs.
I agree. Most of the applications that we do are customs. Regarding the API, it's more like you treat the customers as your customers, even if they're consuming the app by the API. Regarding the code changes, and you can expect lots of them, because the industry is evolving. There are new products, new versions of the products, new countries that your app needs to support. Regularity landscape is also evolving. There are new security requirements, hardware requirements. So you need to make sure you have them covered, or you can very quickly change something. And I guess also changing user needs and expectations, because the competition is also working on their apps. They're also adding new features, integrating more partners, and you need to keep up with the change. So from the development point of view, what could change is the new product types, hardware upgrades, replacements of the products. So you need to think of when you have a new product, you also need to think, right, how we will communicate that this product is offline, how we will replace it, what's the support contact, and so on. And regarding because I'm just talking like what can change, right? So and I want to give some solutions, or at least things that I think will work for me and the teams I worked for. One of some couple of items, they are not finished list, and what works for me might not necessarily work for you, but I can vouch for those. Server-driven front-end application. So you have most of the control and most of the logic lives on the server, and you have a very thin clients that just render what's there. So you have the control, and you don't need to, your customers, they don't need to update the application when something new comes in. It's very important that you have a modular and loosely coupled architecture, that you can, change thing in just one module and don't affect the whole systems. One technical pattern that I really like was command query separation, because in companion apps, most of the calls to the backend are queries that just returning the data with slight modification, and we can separate them, the queries, from the commands which are modifying the state, and this can enable new make the code cleaner, more maintainable. Other very important topic, very big as well. It probably would need a separate episode, is testing. It's great to have, reliable automated test suite, so that when you are making changes, you're not breaking other components. Also, testing strategy. What's the good enough level? How should we approach tests? Well, for example, we should test low-level stuff with unit tests, like invariants, like number of battery units, days that the offer will expire in. And we also need to test the high-level, the integrations, that span across multiple systems. Feature flags, also very important tool to have in your toolbox to, limit something or show something. This is also great to, speed up. And thinking of like speeding up, because change will come, it's always happen, is to try minimizing the development and release time. And here I just want to mention one thing. It's a DORA metrics, is a DevOps metric set of metrics that are very recommended for high performance teams and can be also applicable here.
Awesome. Thank you. These were like very, taken straight from your experience to the audience. So this is why we do around product development series, exactly for this part. The next question I would have is about cloud services. Hot topic as always, big companies moving there. And I believe there is a kind of movement in this direction, right? Do you see any kind of usage in cloud services in renewable energy applications, or maybe they generate more problems than they solve? What's your opinion on this one?
Yes, as you said, cloud is often very, very hot topic. I think now AI is just taking over more, but
That's true. Yeah.
we are still talking about cloud. And I think it's very much in use in renewable energy applications, because I think it's easier to implement than, for example, like a finance, banking, fintech product, because you also do have some very valuable customer data that needs protection, but you can do that with cloud services. And I think I would say that the three main usage, or what clouds can bring into those apps, the companion apps, and the ecosystem, it enables scalability, and I mean both, like scalability in terms of a new customers, like a customer account that will just grow. Hopefully, that's the goal of the business, right? And also scalability in peak periods, like, because not many people check their PV production at night, but when the sun is shining or there is storm coming, yeah, probably we will see a peak. And also cloud offers lots of data storage. So if you have non-relational data that you need to access really fast, versus you have relational data that you just modify, or you have a data that you would like to keep as a backup to verify something, run a query against it. It's also very good. And I guess data privacy and data geolocation. This is something, that also cloud can enable and can simplify lots of things, that you can say this service runs in this region, this one in this region, and you can create some sort of a gateway that will redirect to the correct way.
I got you. Definitely. I couldn't agree more. And you mentioned, we touched it already, that you need to juggle a lot of data, a lot of different types, different formats of data, right? I was thinking about, again, from the technical perspective, how to ensure that clients, different, users of the application have access to the right data format they would expect, right? Could you share maybe some technical insights, some challenges?
Yeah, sure. I think, first of all, and I think this is probably relates to what Andy was saying in the previous episode, you need to understand your customers, whether they are tech-savvy power users or they're just learning about this industry and the products. And this depends on the model that you want to serve them, whether it's a simplified model that just explains things and may not have the highest accuracy versus a very deep, sophisticated model with like tables and very, very fine-grained data. And this, I guess, can be balanced with multiple access points. So you can have a mobile application that's more like user-friendly or explains things, and you can have a web portal that's more that for those power users. You can have an email summary, push notification. So all of those access points or touch points can be tailored to a specific customer. And I guess to touch upon the item we talked about in the beginning, that sometimes the quality of the app could be a factor. I don't know if it is, but it could be, right? And to make sure to increase that chance, we should display the data first in the correct localization of the country. The dates should be correctly displayed. Data should be actionable. There are even simple things like what scale should we use on the graph? Should it be linear, logarithmic, etc.? And here, I think when the data, it can be like numerically presented, but I think there is lots of room for personalized insights and summaries, that can be fired by, or like can be the backbone of it could be AI, whether it's like the new LLM models or the good old machine learning models that we used. So yeah, so I think that's the answer.
All right. I believe this is something we could easily extrapolate through different business sectors. Like the key is to get all the insights about your users and then present them with the data they can, act on, interact, what you just mentioned. Just want to present the more dynamic content, the better interaction, the better user satisfaction, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like a chain of actions inside, right? All right, we do have 2 more minutes, and this is the time I usually ask our guests for some tips, tools, references, etc. So from your perspective, if you could just share, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 5 tech lessons learned from your experience with our audience, how to improve your renewable energy companion apps, what would be those?
All right. So I think the experience and the user is the king. So I would say prioritize that. This builds upon what
Amen
we
to that.
yeah, what we talked about, and that means intuitive interfaces, actionable data, onboarding that should be streamlined as much as possible. Of course, probably there are some parts that don't have to be, or like automating them might be very costly and they still require on human-to-human interaction, but that as much as you can automate with this process of onboarding, setting up the hardware, the better for the user. You should also follow a mobile app design principle, as most of the companions are mobile applications. Whether it's an iOS guide or Android guide, it should feel like the native app. It should have the gestures, animations, etc. Other items that some people forgot is the formatting by country, error, offline handling. It's all built into this single package of hopefully good UX. Other item is what we talked about with the data integration. Support two-way data transfer and make sure that you can accept data from other partners and then you can export data to other parties using a standardized patterns like REST API or like open API or like general standards, both for communicating and authentication. Here, you also have a choice of building a generalized API or specialized for each use case. I would personally lean more towards the specialized for each partner. So you can, handle each integration separately and allow access, like, fulfill their needs. Adapt cloud or like adopt the cloud native architecture approach. This will enable you to use cloud products to get scalability, security, and speed of delivery. For example, you could use a serverless architecture for prototyping and infrequent traffic. Some of the integrations that we see are more of a cloud-to-cloud level, that you are supposed to send an SQS message, or some partner invokes a Lambda that is in your account. So it's, more than, traditional REST
Right.
API calls.
Right.
Yeah, just very quickly, things to mention out, 12-factor app regarding the adopt cloud native. Two more items because you asked for 5. Resilient.
I need to
Resilience.
think out further like what I ask about, but it's good. It's good. This is what we're here for.
Yeah. So, I could. It's a quite passionate topic of mine. Because the more we put into our tools, into the code base, the easier it is to change. And I think that the software shouldn't block the business. It should be always that it empowers the business. Resilient for change. Use the best practice like backend driven front ends. Have a reliable test suite, have a testing strategy, patterns like comment query separations, modular design that is loosely coupled. And I think at the end, it's what we are doing a bit here. Culture of knowledge sharing. So between like a cross-functional collaboration, designers, business people, testers, developers, make sure your developers understand what's the selling point, make sure they understand the domain. And yeah, I think that's it.
Awesome. This was just a big chunk of knowledge here today. Thank you, Michał, for joining us today. And to the rest, to our audience, I would already love to invite all of you to our next episode, which is going to be, again, mind-blowing as always, next Monday, 3 p.m. This time, our guests will be Walter Kurtz and Dr. Roland Polacek-Ernst, and we'll be talking about AI Readiness Index, which this gentleman created, actually. This index evaluates how ready the company is to adopt AI. And I'll tell you a bit more next week on Monday. So have a great day, and thank you once again, Michał.
Thank you.